Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to Daily Cup English. I'm Liam.
And I'm Chloe. Thanks so much for spending a little bit of your day with us.
Yeah, seriously. Whether you're listening while driving, walking, doing the dishes, or just trying to relax for a few minutes, we're really happy you're here.
And if this is your first time listening, welcome. Daily Cup English is a podcast where we talk about real-life topics in natural, everyday English.
Exactly. No textbooks, no complicated grammar lessons. Just two people having honest conversations, the kind you might hear between friends.
And quick reminder, if you enjoy this podcast, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and follow us so you don't miss our daily episodes.
We post new episodes every day, so there's always something new to listen to while you practice your English.
All right, Liam, so how are you feeling today?
I'd say a little tired, but in a good way. You know that feeling when your mind is busy, but you're also kind of excited?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I feel the same. My week has been full, but I've been thinking a lot lately.
Thinking about what?
About how much our thoughts affect our mood. Like one small thought can change the whole direction of your day.
That's interesting you say that, because I was thinking about something very similar this morning.
Really? What was it?
Well, I noticed that when I wake up and tell myself something negative, like, today is going to be stressful, my day usually does feel stressful.
Yeah, it's like you already decide how the day will go before it even starts.
Exactly. But then there are other days when I tell myself one simple sentence and it kind of changes my mindset.
That's such a good point. It's funny how one sentence can stay in your head all day, right?
Totally. Sometimes it's something someone else says to you, other times it's something you say to yourself.
And the scary part is we're always talking to ourselves, but we don't always realize what we're saying.
Yeah, that inner voice can be supportive or really harsh.
So today, we thought it would be interesting to talk about that inner voice.
Right. Today's episode is all about 5 sentences that can actually change your mindset.
And these aren't big, fancy, motivational quotes you hang on a wall.
Nope, they're simple, realistic sentences that normal people can use in everyday life.
Sentences you can say to yourself when you're tired, stressed, confused, or just feeling stuck.
Because let's be honest, life isn't always inspiring or positive.
Exactly. Some days are messy. Some days you don't feel confident at all.
But the way you talk to yourself during those moments really matters.
So in this episode, we're going to share 5 sentences that have helped us personally.
We'll talk about why they work, when to use them, and how they've changed the way we think.
And as you listen, you might notice that 1 or 2 of these sentences really hit home for you.
Yeah, maybe there's one sentence you need to hear today.
All right, let's get into the first one.
All right, so let's start with the first sentence. This one sounds simple, but honestly, it's really powerful.
Yeah, the first sentence is, I don't have to be perfect.
I feel like just hearing that already makes me breathe a little easier.
Same here, and I think a lot of people don't realize how much pressure they put on themselves to be perfect.
Totally, especially when it comes to work, learning something new, or even just talking to people.
Yeah, we tell ourselves things like, I'll start when I'm ready, or I'll do it when I'm good enough.
But the problem is, we never feel ready enough.
Exactly. Perfection becomes this imaginary level that we're always chasing but never reaching.
For me, perfectionism usually shows up as procrastination.
Oh, that's interesting. How so?
Well, if I feel like I can't do something perfectly, I'll just delay it. I'll tell myself, I'll do it tomorrow when I have more time, or I need to prepare more.
But tomorrow comes and nothing changes.
Exactly. And deep down, it's not about time, it's about fear. Fear of doing something badly.
I think that's really common. A lot of people think perfectionism means high standards, but often it's just fear in a nicer outfit.
That's such a good way to put it.
For me, perfectionism shows up when I compare myself to others.
Yeah, comparison makes everything worse.
Totally. I'll see someone who's confident, successful, or fluent in something, and I'll think, if I can't do it like them, why even try?
And that thought can stop you before you even begin.
Exactly. But when I remind myself I don't have to be perfect, something changes.
What changes for you?
I give myself permission to be a beginner, to make mistakes, to sound awkward sometimes.
That's huge, especially for people learning English.
Yes, so many learners are afraid to speak because they don't want to make mistakes.
But mistakes are literally part of the process.
Right. You don't learn by being perfect. You learn by trying, failing, and adjusting.
I remember when I first started doing public speaking, I was terrible.
Really?
Yeah, my voice shook, I spoke too fast, and I forgot what I wanted to say.
But you kept going.
Only because at some point I told myself, it's okay if this isn't perfect.
And that sentence gave you freedom.
Exactly. Freedom to show up as I was, not as some perfect version of myself.
I think that's the key idea here. When you stop chasing perfection, you actually start making progress.
That's so true. Perfection slows you down. Action moves you forward.
And honestly, most people aren't judging you as harshly as you judge yourself.
That's a big one. We're usually our own worst critics.
So if you're listening right now and you've been holding back because you're waiting to be perfect,
Try saying this sentence to yourself. I don't have to be perfect.
you just have to be willing.
Willing to try, willing to learn, willing to mess up sometimes.
Because that's how real growth happens.
All right, let's move on to the second sentence.
So the second sentence we want to talk about today is, "This is hard, but I can handle it."
I really like this one because it feels honest.
Yeah, it doesn't pretend that everything is easy or positive.
Exactly. It doesn't say, this is fun, or this is no problem.
It says, "This is hard," and that part is important.
Right, because sometimes life is hard, and pretending it's not can actually make things worse.
I agree. When we tell ourselves, "I shouldn't feel this way," we often feel even more stressed.
Yeah, like you're already failing just for feeling overwhelmed.
But this sentence gives you space to say, "Okay, this is difficult, and that's normal."
And then it adds the second part, but I can handle it.
That part changes everything.
For me, this sentence is really helpful when I'm under pressure.
What kind of pressure?
Deadlines at work, big decisions, or even emotional stuff, like tough conversations.
Yeah, those moments when your brain starts racing.
Exactly. My first thought is usually, this is too much.
Same. And once you think that, everything feels heavier.
But when I change that sentence to, this is hard, but I can handle it, I feel more grounded.
It doesn't magically fix the problem, but it makes you feel more capable.
Right. It reminds you that you've handled hard things before.
That's such an important point. We forget our past strength so easily,
Yeah, we act like this is the first hard thing we've ever faced.
when in reality, we've survived a lot.
I remember a time when I had to take on a project I felt completely unprepared for.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I kept thinking, I can't do this, I'm not ready.
And what happened?
Honestly, I struggled a lot, but I also learned, adapted, and eventually finished it.
So you handled it.
Exactly. Not perfectly, but I handled it.
I think that's the message here. Handling something doesn't mean doing it perfectly.
It just means you keep going, even when it's uncomfortable.
This sentence has helped me a lot with emotional situations.
Like what?
Like dealing with disappointment or uncertainty, things you can't control.
Those are the hardest.
Yeah, when there's no clear solution, your mind can go to really dark places.
So what do you tell yourself in those moments?
I tell myself, "This hurts, but I can handle it."
That's powerful.
It reminds me that emotions come and go. I don't have to escape them.
I think that's something a lot of people need to hear.
Definitely, especially people who are learning something new, like a language.
Learning English can feel overwhelming at times.
Yeah, you don't understand everything, you make mistakes, you feel slow.
And it's easy to think, I'm not good at this.
But a better sentence is, "This is hard, but I can handle it."
Because you don't need to understand everything today.
You just need to keep showing up.
Little by little.
So if you're listening right now and you're in a tough situation,
Work, relationships, studying, or something personal.
try saying this sentence out loud or in your head.
This is hard, but I can handle it.
You might be surprised how much calmer you feel.
All right, let's move on to the third sentence. The third sentence might make some people uncomfortable at first.
Yeah, because it goes against what many of us were taught growing up.
The sentence is, I'm allowed to change my mind.
When I first really accepted this sentence, it felt freeing.
Same here, but also a little scary.
Why scary?
Because we're often told that changing your mind means you're weak, confused, or unreliable.
Yeah, like once you choose something, you're supposed to stick with it no matter what.
Exactly. There's this idea that consistency is always a good thing.
But what if you grow? What if you learn new things?
Right. Staying the same just to look strong doesn't always make sense.
I think a lot of people stay in situations that don't feel right anymore because they're afraid of changing their mind.
Jobs, relationships, goals, even opinions.
Yeah, we think, I already said yes, so I have to keep going. I've definitely felt that pressure before.
Me too. I remember sticking with a plan just because I didn't want to explain myself to others.
That's such a real reason, honestly.
Yeah, it wasn't even about what I wanted anymore. It was about avoiding awkward conversations.
And that's exhausting.
It really is. But when I started telling myself I'm allowed to change my mind, something shifted.
What changed?
I stopped seeing change as failure.
That's huge.
Instead, I started seeing it as feedback, like, okay, I tried this, now I know more.
I love that. Changing your mind doesn't erase your effort.
Exactly. It just means you're adjusting based on new information.
For me, this sentence has been especially helpful with long-term goals.
How so?
There were goals I set years ago that no longer fit who I am now.
That makes sense. People change.
But I felt guilty letting them go, like I was giving up.
Yeah, that guilt can be heavy.
Once I accepted that I'm allowed to change my mind, I felt lighter.
And probably more honest with yourself.
Exactly. I wasn't forcing myself into a future I didn't want anymore.
I think this sentence is really important for people who feel stuck.
Totally. Feeling stuck often means you're afraid to choose differently.
And choosing differently doesn't mean you made a bad choice before.
It just means you're paying attention now.
That's such a good way to say it.
I also think this sentence helps with learning, especially learning a language.
How so?
Sometimes learners think, this method doesn't work for me, but I already started, so I can't change.
Yeah, like they're trapped.
But you're allowed to change how you learn.
You're allowed to try something new.
And that doesn't mean you failed.
It means you're being flexible.
So if you're listening right now and you feel stuck in something,
A decision, a habit, or even a belief.
try saying this sentence to yourself. I'm allowed to change my mind.
Sometimes that's all you need to take the next step.
All right, let's move on to the fourth sentence.
All right, the fourth sentence might be one of the hardest ones for a lot of people.
Yeah, especially if you care a lot about what others think.
The sentence is, I don't need everyone to like me.
Just saying that out loud can feel uncomfortable.
Totally, because most of us grow up learning to be polite, friendly, and agreeable.
And there's nothing wrong with that,
Right, but sometimes that turns into trying to please everyone.
which is impossible.
And exhausting.
I used to be a huge people pleaser.
Really, I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah, I hated the idea of disappointing anyone.
Same here. I'd say yes even when I really wanted to say no.
And then you feel resentful later.
Exactly. You're tired, stressed, and quietly upset, but no one knows why.
Because you never said what you actually wanted.
This sentence helped me realize something important.
What's that?
Being liked by everyone is not the same as being respected.
That's such an important difference.
Yeah, sometimes when you set boundaries, some people won't like it.
But that doesn't mean you're doing something wrong.
It just means you're being honest.
I remember a moment when I finally told someone no without giving a long explanation.
How did that feel?
Terrifying at first. I kept waiting for them to be angry.
And were they?
Not really. And even if they were, I realized I could handle it.
That's powerful.
Yeah, I learned that discomfort doesn't mean danger.
I like that. Discomfort isn't danger.
And this sentence, I don't need everyone to like me, helps me remember that.
For me, this sentence comes up a lot on social media.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
You post something, share an opinion, or even just be yourself, and not everyone agrees.
And that can feel really personal.
Yeah, but the truth is, if everyone likes you, you're probably not being fully honest.
That's true. Different people value different things.
And that's okay.
I think this sentence is especially helpful for people who are learning to speak up.
Like in a new language.
Exactly. When you're speaking English, you might worry about sounding strange or making mistakes.
Or being judged.
But you don't need everyone to like how you speak. You just need to communicate.
And the people who matter will be patient. So if you're listening right now and you're constantly worried about other people's opinions,
Try reminding yourself, I don't need everyone to like me.
you need to like yourself.
And that's already a lot of work.
All right, let's move on to the fifth and final sentence.
All right, this brings us to the fifth and final sentence.
And honestly, this one might be my favorite.
Yeah, same here. The sentence is, I'm making progress even if it's slow.
I feel like this sentence is something so many people need to hear.
Especially in a world where everything feels fast.
Right, we're constantly surrounded by stories of quick success.
Social media makes it look like everyone is improving overnight.
And when your own progress feels slow, it's easy to think you're doing something wrong.
I've definitely felt that way before.
Me too. I used to compare my progress to other people all the time.
And comparison usually leads to frustration.
Yeah, you stop noticing how far you've come and only focus on how far you still have to go.
That's such a good point.
For me, this sentence helps me zoom out.
What do you mean by that?
It helps me look at the bigger picture instead of just one bad day.
Ah, yeah, because progress isn't always visible day to day.
Exactly. Some days you feel confident, and other days you feel stuck.
But that doesn't mean you're not improving. It just means growth isn't a straight line.
I think this sentence is incredibly important for language learners.
Absolutely. Learning a language takes time.
You might listen to podcasts every day and still feel like you're not getting any better.
But then one day you realize you understand more than you used to.
Or you respond faster without translating in your head.
Those small moments are progress, even if they feel tiny.
I remember learning a new skill and feeling like I was moving at a snail's pace.
That's such a familiar feeling.
But when I looked back after a few months, the difference was clear.
Progress often makes sense only when you look backwards.
That's so true.
I also think this sentence helps people who feel stuck in life.
Yeah, like they missed some invisible deadline.
Exactly. There's so much pressure to reach certain milestones by a certain age.
But everyone's timeline is different.
And slow progress is still progress.
Sometimes slow progress is more stable.
Right. When things move slowly, you actually learn how to handle them.
You build real confidence.
Not the kind that disappears when things get hard.
So if you're listening right now and you feel discouraged,
Maybe because you're not where you want to be yet.
try saying this sentence to yourself.
I'm making progress even if it's slow.
Because speed isn't the goal.
Consistency is.
All right, we've covered all 5 sentences.
All right, Liam, so now that we've gone through all 5 sentences, I think it's a good moment to look at them together.
Yeah, because they're not just 5 separate ideas. They actually support each other in really interesting ways.
Exactly. Let's recap them quickly. 1. I don't have to be perfect. 2. This is hard, but I can handle it. 3. I'm allowed to change my mind. 4. I don't need everyone to like me. And 5. I'm making progress, even if it's slow.
When you say them one after the other, it's almost like a toolkit for your mind.
Yeah, each sentence tackles a different kind of pressure or negative thought.
The first one, not having to be perfect, helps you start something without fear. It frees you from your own expectations.
Right. And then, this is hard, but I can handle it, helps you stay grounded when you feel overwhelmed. It acknowledges difficulty without letting it paralyze you.
The third sentence about changing your mind reminds you that life isn't rigid. You can adjust, learn, and grow without feeling guilty.
And the fourth sentence, not needing everyone to like you, protects you from external pressures. It keeps you focused on what really matters to you instead of chasing approval.
Finally, the last one, recognizing progress, even if it's slow, helps you keep going day by day. It builds patience and resilience.
When you put all of these together, it's like a mental safety net. You give yourself permission to try, fail, adjust, and grow without being crushed by fear or expectations.
Yeah, it's really about creating a mindset where you can move forward no matter what life throws at you.
I also like that they're very practical. You don't need a special tool, a book, or a workshop. Just say them to yourself.
Even just one sentence at the right time can shift your mood or your decision.
For example, if you're about to speak in English in front of someone and you feel nervous, you could think, I don't have to be perfect. This is hard, but I can handle it.
And if you second guess your words, just remind yourself, I'm allowed to change my mind.
Exactly. And if you worry about someone judging you, remember, I don't need everyone to like me.
Finally, after you finish speaking, even if it wasn't perfect, tell yourself, I'm making progress even if it's slow.
See? One situation, all 5 sentences can be applied naturally.
And that's the beauty of them. They're flexible and can be used in work, school, relationships, learning, or even just dealing with daily stress.
I love that they also encourage self-compassion. You're being kind to yourself, not just pushing and criticizing.
Exactly. A lot of people think self-improvement is all about discipline and pressure.
But it's really about mindset, and these sentences give you a framework for a healthier mindset.
The key is to practice them consistently. Not every day will be perfect, but just repeating them will help your brain gradually shift.
Even saying them silently in your head while commuting or before a meeting can make a difference.
Or writing them down in a journal. It's like giving yourself reminders that you're capable, flexible, and growing.
Yeah, and I think that's the core message here. Small, simple sentences can have a huge impact over time.
Absolutely. It's not magic, but it works because your mind starts believing the things you tell it consistently.
So, if you're listening, take a moment today and pick one of these sentences that resonates most with you.
Try saying it out loud or silently to yourself a few times. Notice how it changes your thinking.
And don't worry if it feels strange at first. Your brain just needs practice.
All right, Chloe, now that we've seen how these 5 sentences work together, I think it's a good moment to share some of our personal reflections on them.
Yes, that's always the part I love most, hearing real-life examples of how these sentences actually help.
All right, Chloe, now let's talk a little bit about how these sentences actually work in real life. Not just theory, but personal experience.
Yeah, I love that part, because hearing the sentences is one thing, but seeing how they play out is another.
For me, the first one, not having to be perfect, was huge when I started public speaking.
Oh yeah? Tell us more.
Well, I remember my first big presentation. I was nervous, rehearsed a million times, and still thought I'd mess everything up.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, but then I reminded myself I don't have to be perfect, and it changed my approach. I relaxed a bit, allowed myself to make small mistakes, and just focused on connecting with the audience.
And it worked?
It did. Not perfectly, but people responded well, and I felt proud of myself. That sentence made it possible to start instead of overthinking forever.
I can relate. For me, this is hard, but I can handle it helped me during a really stressful project at work.
What happened?
I was leading a team for the first time, deadlines everywhere, and I felt like I was drowning. But saying to myself, this is hard, but I can handle it, gave me courage to tackle each challenge one at a time.
I like that. It's like giving yourself permission to acknowledge difficulty without letting it stop you.
Exactly. And the third sentence, I'm allowed to change my mind, changed the way I think about long-term plans.
Really?
Yeah, I used to feel guilty about switching career directions or dropping goals that no longer felt right. But reminding myself that I can change my mind made me more flexible and less stressed.
I can relate. I've stayed in projects too long just to look consistent. That sentence gave me freedom to adjust my path without feeling like I failed.
And I don't need everyone to like me. Wow, that's a lifesaver.
Yeah, people-pleasing can be exhausting. Setting boundaries and remembering you don't have to be liked by everyone makes life so much lighter.
Absolutely. And finally, I'm making progress, even if it's slow. This one I use almost every day.
Especially for language learning.
Yes, I listen to podcasts, practice speaking, and some days I feel like I'm not improving at all. But when I remind myself that even small steps count, it keeps me motivated.
I think that's the point of all 5 sentences. They're not about instant success. They're about keeping you moving forward, building resilience, and being kind to yourself.
Exactly, and they're practical. You can apply them in work, learning, relationships, or even just handling daily stress.
So, listeners, maybe pick one sentence that resonates with you today and try using it. You'll be surprised how much of a difference it can make.
All right, Liam, that wraps up today's episode.
Yeah, we've talked about 5 sentences that can change your mindset. I don't have to be perfect. This is hard, but I can handle it. I'm allowed to change my mind. I don't need everyone to like me, and I'm making progress even if it's slow.
We shared what they mean, how we use them in our daily lives, and how they can help you handle challenges, stress, and self-doubt.
If there's one thing we hope you take away from this episode, it's that small, simple sentences can have a big impact over time.
Exactly. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Start small. Try one sentence today and notice how your mindset shifts.
And don't forget, consistency is key. Repeat them, write them down, say them out loud, whatever works for you.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe to Daily Cup English. We post new episodes every day, so there's always something fresh to practice and enjoy.
And follow us on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode.
We'd also love to hear from you. Which sentence resonates most with you? How are you going to use it today?
Leave a comment, send us a message, or tag us on social media. Sharing your experience helps everyone, including us.
All right, that's it for today. Remember, small sentences, big impact. Be kind to yourself, keep moving forward, and embrace the process.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you in the next episode of Daily Cup English.
Bye, and have a wonderful day.